Good morning, everyone. At this time, I'll call the Crow Wing County Regular Board meeting for October 28, 2025 to order. If you'll stand for the Pledge of Allegiance and a moment of silence.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. First up, we have open forum. Mr. Scheffler. Good morning.
Morning, Steve. How you doing?
Good.
Morning, board. Well, here we go again. So, got another lawsuit for the county. We'll see how well it goes this time. Hasn't been going so hot for you guys lately. But this one's going to be calling out a lot of stuff, and I have to exempt Mr. Lee because he wasn't here during all this stuff. You guys are all aware, Ms. Franzen decided to commit a crime by putting an unlawful tax on my property. Yeah, bad move. I wouldn't have listened to the Heinzmans and their stupid ideas, but I guess that's what happens. When you're in politics, you like to befriend people that a lot of times are popular, but they're not very scrupulous. Bad move. But this time, once again, it's going to cost the taxpayers money. It's pretty much a shame. And you know, I actually was thinking about it yesterday. I thought I really disliked you people. It was more that I pity you. It's like it's so petty on how you guys act. And this go around, I know it's going to be the excuse with these emails that have Franzen committing the crime. And the emails that I did get my hands on, it's so abundantly clear. You got the ones from Tim Hool where the board got it. The entire board got it. And he's all out saying that he's going to provoke me into this lawsuit. And you guys were okay with that. How is that okay? Just a lawsuit in itself that was totally unnecessary. You guys had nothing to do with that cartway. And you provoked me into this? This is going to cost the taxpayers money for nothing. Why? Because Tim Hool says, oh, we're going to see what we can get away with? Well, you're not going to get away with it. And it's weird that you guys would hide those emails of Franzen concocting this nonsense along with Team Heinzman, that you guys would hide them. You'd go to court, have to pay money to me because you're hiding them then. And all I say is I'm going to request them again, timely. And I knew what was going to happen. I'm like, oh, wow, the state retention schedule is coming up real quick here. And what's going to end up happening is you guys are going to stall through that and then claim, oh, whoops, Mr. Scheffler, sorry about those emails. They're destroyed now. But at least we got that squared away. Here's another check. And that's exactly what's going on. It's pathetic. Why not just take responsibility instead of dumping it off on the taxpayers? This is ridiculous. Like I said, it went from dislike to just pity. Because I'm not going to be losing out in the end on this one. Justice will be served, as it was the other two times. Man, you guys need to get your crap together. And the Brainerd Dispatch, this hack newspaper, really needs to start telling the people the truth of what's going on. They've been covering up too much of this stuff to this point.
All right.
So if you guys are not involved in it and you guys didn't notice the email, I suggest just stepping up to the plate and doing the right thing for once. It doesn't matter if you don't like me. You know, it's that I can understand that. A lot of people don't like me. It doesn't mean you got to disrespect yourself.
Thank you. With that, we'll move on to number 3, which is to review and approve the minutes from October 14th, 2025.
Motion to approve.
Motion by Commissioner Lubke, second by Commissioner Franzen. Any questions? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Not in favor, same sign. That motion passes. Number 4 today is review and approve the agenda.
Make a motion to approve.
Motion by Commissioner Lee to approve.
Sorry, I was having trouble with my
Oh,
microphone. We have one item to add under additional business. Commissioner Franzine has received resignation from her appointee on the HRA, and she has someone she would like to appoint for that replacement. If we could add committee appointments for HRA District 4 under additional business.
Okay.
I will make a motion, amend my motion to accept with the change.
All right, we have a motion with an amended agenda by Commissioner Lee, seconded by Commissioner Franzine. All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Not in favor, same sign. That motion passes. Move on to number 5, which is our consent agenda.
Mr. Chair, I have a couple items I would like to move off of that and discuss before we approve the rest of the consent agenda. That'd be 5.8 and 5.9.
All right, we'll pull 5.8 and 5.9. We'll address those immediately after the consent agenda. Any other concerns with the consent agenda? If not, I would look for a motion to approve. Motion by Commissioner Franzine,
Seconded.
second by Commissioner Lubke. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Not in favor, same sign. That motion passes. We will deal first of all with number 5.8, the Havel property purchase.
Yes. I don't know if it would be Gary or Tom that could answer this question I have on this. In regard to this Havel property, we've only had the Solid Waste Committee, I think, as far as the whole group of us for just about a year now. But I don't remember in the previous meeting, I wasn't able to make it to this last meeting, where this has ever come up in the previous meetings about this Havel property. The question I have on it, in looking it up, it looks like the property shows a value of about $71,000 in 2026 as a taxable value. It shows back in 2020 it was worth a little over $20-some thousand for the 7.7 acres of property. According to what we have in front of us here, it says we're purchasing it for $150,000. And my question is just to clarify why we're paying that much more for that property than what it's even listed at according to our land services.
Yes, good morning, Mr. Chair and Board. So this was discussed at our October meeting, and then the previous meeting as well, it was brought up to have land services staff approach the property owner to see if they'd be willing to sell, and the $150,000 is their asking price for the property.
Okay. And of that money, it looks like 100,000 of it, I think, was going to be, or 120 from landfill funds. What funds are those that landfill has? And how much money is in those funds?
I'll defer to Jessica Shea. She's
Thank you.
more knowledgeable in these areas.
Good morning. I can't speak to the exact balance of those funds, but it would be their landfill enterprise funds, so the funds that we receive for the tipping fees for the garbage that's going into the landfill, since this would be a buffer for that landfill boundary.
But then we're also taking, it looks like it says amendment reflected revision, landfill fund amount of, are we taking some money out of other than just the landfill fund? Are we doing the whole thing out of that landfill enterprise fund?
It will all be out of the landfill enterprise fund. What we are doing is we had a project set aside for about $120,000 for that landfill boiler that we were going to replace, and we are not doing that, so we're just switching those funds to this purchase instead of that. We're moving that project out to 2028, I believe.
And
Still all landfill funds.
it's all landfill funds. So
Correct.
there's not, I mean, it's still tax dollars. It's just not levy dollars.
It's, no, correct. It's the landfill tipping fee, so it's the fees people pay when they use the
Right.
landfill.
Indirectly, it's still taxpayer money.
Correct, residents, yep.
What are we going to do with that land?
Mr. Chair, can I address that?
Sure.
So, I've been here 13 years, and it always was Commissioner Hoag and myself on the Solid Waste Committee. We had a chance to buy that Holmvig property that's where he's crushing gravel across the road. And me being too tight, I thought the price was too much. And so Holmvig bought it. And the way I look at it is, we have got a huge asset. We just put $3.5 million into a recycling facility. We got a lot of taxpayer money spent out there. We need to have a buffer around there so somebody doesn't start building houses, and all of a sudden they're saying it smells, or my water's contaminated, or whatever have you. And so my thought on this is, we're able to buy this Havel property that gives us a buffer. It's no different than Camp Ripley trying to get a buffer around there so that they don't shut down Camp Ripley. I'm trying to get a buffer, or I think we should get a buffer around there, and it's the same thing with that land exchange, so that we have that buffer around there. And that's the whole reason for this, is to have a
And I
buffer.
apologize I wasn't able to be at the
Yeah,
meeting.
no,
Because I
that's-
would have brought it up at that
Yep,
time.
that's the whole
But
reason.
since it's here right now, and
Yep.
it came as a consent item, which I don't know who was all at the meeting at the
Just
solid
Jamie
waste.
and I were there.
Okay. But the challenge I look at is here is we've decided that this property now is worth, instead of worth, $10,000 an acre, at what we're looking at $20,000 or $30,000 an acre. Does that mean other buffer properties around that dump would also be, or landfill, excuse me, would also be valued at that? Because we've kind of set that price. And then the other question I had, is this an arm's length transaction, or does this be taken out when you go to figure out, when you look at taxing other piece of property, it says we just sold a piece of raw land, or there's really not much on it, for $20-some thousand an acre. So that means all raw land can be valued at $20,000, and I'll ask that question of Gary.
Good morning, Mr. Chair, Commissioners. This will not be an arm's length transaction. This is not a good indicator of market value, because
Okay, so
the
it doesn't.
buyer wants the property, basically, we get these all the time where they buy it for more than what it's probably worth to anybody else.
Okay,
But it is worth more to the county than probably anybody else because of the situation.
and I just questioned the amount.
Yep.
That's all I had there,
Absolutely.
so.
And if I could, it's just real important to note, it's not taxpayer dollars, it's user fee, it's a tipping fee out there. So there's, all the tax statements we send out, you have a $25 special, or a solid waste, a special assessment on there. That goes for all of our recycling efforts, keeping things out of the landfill. That landfill is fully funded by tipping fee only, so there is no taxpayer dollars.
But the tipping fees are paid by the taxpayers.
Absolutely, but it is a user-based
It's a
type of
user-
system,
user
not a tax.
Which I think is a very fair way of doing it, so.
Yep.
So thank you for answering that question, and now I'll go on to 5.9. When we're looking at exchanging, and I didn't get through the homework on it yet, but, and that's what I'm asking you, the valuation of what we're exchanging for this Holmvig property, I think you said some of it's tax forfeiture, and some of it was a memorial forest. And is that property that's going to be somewhere down the road, maybe when the Holmvigs have it, they could come in and ask for a gravel permit? Is there gravel on that property, and they would look at turning that into a gravel pit?
That is the number one reason why Mr. Holmvig wants the property, is it does have a significant deposit of gravel.
Okay, and the property that we are getting for buffer is an old gravel pit, which probably never would be developed into homes, would probably never be developed into anything else. We're just getting
Not
it is-
necessarily, not
Well,
necessarily.
I know, but it's a gravel pit, and I've driven by and looked at it.
Part of it currently is a gravel pit.
Right,
Yes.
right, so, that's the only question I had. It just seems like a lot of money to be spending, and do we have what those dollars are, what the Holmvig property is that we're looking at getting, and what the valuation of the property is that we're looking at giving up?
We do. It's roughly about 4.5% difference.
Okay, and what is the number, though, 4.5%?
I don't know that we have that in here. I don't know I have it with me, but I know they were pretty close in property valuation.
Okay, okay.
You could stop over and get it.
Yeah, absolutely.
I will after I'm done. And I apologize that I didn't go over and get it sooner, so,
And
thank you.
Mr. Chair, if Commissioner Lubke doesn't think this is a good idea, don't bother me, I guess. I guess I'm just trying to look forward to protecting our asset out there, and, when somebody buys that, or, that $150,000 property, that doesn't mean somebody couldn't buy that and build a house there, and then all of a sudden they're complaining about the smell from the landfill. That's all
No, and
I just think I'm just trying to protect our asset, is what I'm
And I
trying
was
to do.
just asking the question, Paul.
Oh,
I mean,
okay.
it wasn't
I don't-
to, it was because I wasn't at the meeting, and I wanted to make sure, as you know, I like to do a little research on
Right.
most of the stuff I bring up, so.
Okay, so you,
I'm done with my questions.
So I think we'll handle both of these with one motion.
Mr.
So-
Chair, I would move with the adoption of 5.8 and 5.9.
Motion by Commissioner, what's your
Coring.
last name? Coring?
Coring, here, right here, license
No,
plate.
don't bring that, no.
Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Second by Commissioner Lee. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Not in favor, same sign.
Aye.
That motion passes. We'll move on to number 6, Community Services. Tara Terry and Tammy Lewick. Welcome to the pit.
Jeez.
Oh, come on now.
Thanks for the new name for the seats. Not intimidating at all. Appreciate that. Kara Terry, Community Services.
Tammy Lewick, Community Services.
So we are here today to share information about our Brainerd Lakes Area Drug Education Work, or BLADE. As you know, in 2019, BLADE was formed because we had a substance use problem and we're not able to arrest our way out of it. So folks came together from the community, including providers, those with lived experience, folks from the government, law enforcement, to figure out a way to address some of the issues that we were facing. As with any policy, program, practice within Crow Wing County, we consistently look for ways to do things better, to do things smarter, and BLADE is no exception. So we are here today to present some information on a potential new structure to you, and if you approve, to appoint 2 commissioners to serve on our work group. So as we were talking through how could we do the work better in relation to BLADE, we came up with a new statement, but our mission remains the same. So we want to prevent drug abuse, protect our people, and preserve our community. That's the mission of BLADE. All right, and so this new statement doesn't replace our mission, but helps to guide our work. Together, we create spaces where individuals can find hope, healing, and community. That's really the goal of our BLADE group. So this is the new organizational structure that we're proposing, and we will dive into it a bit more as we go through. Basically, you guys are the boss. The county board is in charge of all things BLADE, including the opioid funding. We then propose to have a BLADE steering committee, which would include a number of folks from the county that do this work, as well as law enforcement representation, members of the jail, county board, and some medical professionals in the community. This is a graphical depiction of the last slide. Oh, wait, we're hopping around here. Oh, that's one. There you go. Thank you. So our steering committee will be the group that I just talked about, composed of a number of county staff, law enforcement, the jail, county commissioners, et cetera. Under the steering committee, we would have 4 separate task groups. So the task groups are the groups that would be doing the work associated with each of these topic areas. We'll then have the BLADE Coalition as kind of that underpinning, or the group that comes together, not monthly. We're determining an appropriate meeting schedule, but that will come together so we can talk through the task groups, what's going on, how things are going out in the community, what they're hearing. So this is the overarching structure we're proposing today. Next slide, please, Amber. So here's a little bit of a timeline. 2019, as I mentioned, we developed the BLADE Coalition. In 22, you proclaimed September as Recovery Month, and that stays true today. 2023, we learned that we would receive $2.5 million over the next 18 years in opioid funds. And in 2023, we were awarded the Drug Free Communities Grant, which helps us to focus our efforts in the schools with kids and substance misuse. The steering committee, the top group right under you guys that I proposed, is the core decision-making body that oversees the entire initiative. It includes the mix of community leaders, as I mentioned, and county board members. These are the proposed members. You'll see Commissioner Barrow's name on here, as well as Commissioner Coring. Those These two individuals are on here because they were appointed earlier on to be a part of the Blade Coalition. And so this isn't set in stone. You could change your mind today, or you could continue to appoint Commissioner Barrows or Commissioner Coring, and Commissioner Coring. The role of the steering committee is to guide strategy, allocate resources, and ensure alignment among all the 4 task groups that I had showed you before. Staff that will be heading up this group or setting the agendas with input from the steering committee, taking the minutes, sending out the invites, that'll be Talia Broadhead, who's our Blade coordinator. She is employed through Minnesota Prevention and Recovery Alliance and is our Blade coordinator, as well as does our DFC grant work. Here are the task groups, and we've structured the task groups similar to Crow Wing Energized. We found that their structure has really worked for them to not only engage community, but to ensure with staff support that these task groups continue forward. So you'll see the opioid fund, Gina Heyer, who is the public health manager, and I would be the co-chairs of the opioid fund. Treatment and recovery would be Tammy and Richard Gruntner, who is our social worker. Community education is Kelly Johnson and Talia Broadhead. I apologize, that word was cut off. And then the DFC Youth Prevention Grant will be Talia and Josh Nelson. Josh is also an employee of Minnesota Prevention and Recovery Alliance, and so he will work with Talia on those grant requirements. The focus areas you can see there to the right. Advisory Committee for Opioid Funds makes recommendations for prioritizing the settlement funds. The Treatment and Recovery Group will implement strategies. The Community Education Group will raise awareness and educate the public. And the Advisory Committee for the DFC grant is responsible for implementing the requirements of that grant. So the opioid fund task groups, we've developed charters for each of the groups that we will propose to each of the task groups if this structure is approved. This is the mission of the task group for opioid funds, as well as guiding principles. Importantly, we want to collaborate with our multiple stakeholders, so gain input, knowing that the final decision in terms of opioid allocation is you guys. You're the final decision makers. Next slide, please. Here are our responsibilities for the opioid fund task groups. I won't read them all to you, but suffice to say, we will gather input from the task group itself and finalize our charter, which includes the responsibilities once the task groups are formed. Treatment and Recovery Task Group. This is a picture from our most recent recovery walk, which was a huge success. So this task group also has a mission and guiding principles. You'll see a lot of overlap between the task groups, and that's because we're all working to the same goal of reducing substance misuse within the community. Technology.
Well, I need a job.
Task group responsibilities are included here. Again, there are a lot of overlapping responsibilities with this group as well. The Training and Education Task Group, this is from our Prevention, Recovery and Prevention Conference that our folks attended. This picture. This group is a little wordy, so their mission is a little more broad than others. You can tell that I might have written the first one, Tammy wrote the second one, and then we did not write this third one. But important purpose and guiding principles include visibility and presence related to training and education to really celebrate recovery, which would be our recovery walk and other events. And then
There it went.
Okay. Unity through collaboration, stigma reduction, and resource connection. So to make sure that we're coordinating our resources toward common goals and not duplicating the work.
I know, I'm sorry.
Task group responsibilities for this group. Planning and coordination are a big one, as well as public awareness campaigns, and documentation and reporting will also be important to ensure that the strategies we're putting out into the community make good sense and are having an impact. And then the DFC Youth Prevention Task Group, there are some stipulations we have to follow because of the grant itself, which includes having representatives from the different sectors that are listed here in the graphic. So we will continue, obviously, with those 12 sectors being represented. And we do have a charter for this group now as well that can be shared once the task group is developed. So the Blade Coalition, which is the group of folks that come together right now every month, and it consists of many different sectors across the county. Super important group to get together to talk about what's currently working, where they see the needs are, what work they're doing. Because we did allocate a second round of grant funding, we have requirements for the recipients of the grant funds to come to the Blade Coalition meetings to report out what work they're doing and to see how they're coordinating across organizations. So that work will continue, as well as the meetings themselves. The coalition, though, will be more of an advisory group to share information with the task groups. I foresee that members of the coalition currently could serve on different task groups to have a voice, but the overarching approver of anything Blade will come through the county board. Oh, that's it in a nutshell. So we stand for any questions that you might have and look for your approval and appointment.
I appreciate the emphasis that you made about the final responsibility is the county board's responsibility. That, I think, was kind of a gray area for some of these groups that engage in the efforts in the opioid world, but I appreciate that. This board does take that responsibility seriously, and we want the public to know that, and those groups to know that we will make the final decisions on any of this funding that goes out. The dollars come to Crow Wing County for a reason, and we're responsible for the dispensation of those dollars, so we will carry that out. I do have one other thing.
Go ahead.
I was at the recovery walk that was mentioned in one of the slides, and the sheriff's department did a great job of a couple officers being there to get dunked. I volunteered next year to be one of the participants, and I would invite the other 4 members. What?
I've
Come join in.
done that before, and that was not pleasant, so.
Well, I know they get harder balls for certain people that are sitting there, and they take the fence down. But it is a great opportunity to support that group of people, and it was a great event this year. So, Jamie?
Just one quick question. A couple of times in your presentation, you mentioned the schools, and then there was the last grant received was for schools. Can you talk a little bit about what's happening there with schools? And are they all schools, just one?
So the Drug-Free Communities Grant, we're in year 4?
I think 3.
3 of receiving the dollars for that grant. Talia Broadhead, who works with Minnesota Prevention and Recovery Alliance, as well as Josh, another employee of MINPRA, go into the schools and host educational sessions for students. I know we've been immersed in the Brainerd School District. We are looking at Pequot.
We've been in Pequot and Crosby, so.
and expanding
But
to
I think
Crosby.
there's still efforts being made when it comes to some of the peer advisory groups that they'd like to have, or peer groups that they'd like to form in the schools as well. So there's some components that I don't think we have fully launched in any of the schools that we'd like to continue to move forward on. But the presentations are being done in all 3 schools in the county, the 3 primary school districts. I shouldn't say all schools, because that maybe will be coming later. We'll see upon invitation. The program that they do is called Know the Truth, and it's an evidence-based program that was looked at by the University of Minnesota. And so they share a little bit about their stories, but then they're there to talk with the youth teachers as well around questions they may have, connections to treatment programs and support if they need it. So.
And it's not just for the youth who might be struggling with substance use, but if a youth's parents are struggling with substance use as well, they provide support for those individuals as well. If you'd like a presentation about the work that the DFC grant is doing in the schools, we're happy to set that up so you can learn more about the specifics if you'd like.
Okay.
Thanks. That's all I got.
I'm sorry.
I did also, oops,
Okay.
are you done?
That's all I
Okay.
got.
I did also attend that recovery walk, and it was unbelievable how many people were there. I mean, it was, I think we had, what, was there 500?
Good.
500? And I would be willing to do the dunk tank, but I would have to wear a life jacket. So,
A life jacket?
a life jacket. Because somebody might want to come over and hold me down, so. But thank you for what you guys do, I really appreciate that.
Commissioner Coring?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So I have been serving on here with the chairman, but I'm more than happy to continue to serve, but I know that Commissioner Lubke likes a lot of information to make a decision, which is a good thing. I probably don't require as much information, but if Commissioner Lubke would want to be on there, I'm okay with that too, whatever you guys think, but I'm more than happy to continue to serve on there. But if Commissioner Lubke wants to be on there, that's fine with me.
Commissioner Lupke?
And I have thought about that, and I was thinking with my experience in that area because of extended family members and stuff, that it would be really good. But I also think that because it does involve law enforcement and there is a law enforcement component about it, if Jamie would be willing to serve because of his experience, I think that would also be interesting. So I'm okay serving if that's the choice of the board, or have Jamie serve if he would like to do that too. I wouldn't want to leave that not open for him.
I appreciate the offer, but I've got a fair amount of committees, and there's at least 3 on law enforcement are on that list already, so I would pass. Thank you.
And I'll just note, you're all welcome to the Blade Coalition
Yes.
group. We do post those for the public, and so you're all able to come to that group. We can also bring you updates regularly on the work that we're doing with the coalition itself. This is specifically for the steering committee.
So, Commissioner Coring, you're willing to hand it off to Commissioner Lupke?
Yes, I think that's probably a good idea, and I think the chairman has the authority to appoint himself and Commissioner Lubke to that, so.
I haven't heard from Rosemary at all. Are you interested at all? Okay.
As the chair, I will make the appointment of Commissioner Lubke and myself to be on the Blade Steering Committee.
And then the overarching structure is a go in terms of the task groups and...
Yes, I think it makes,
Yes.
yeah.
Well, why don't we make a motion? We'll just make it
Yeah,
official.
yeah,
So I
yeah.
look for a motion to approve the new structure of the Blade
Motion,
work group,
yeah,
whatever.
motion to approve the Blade structure that was presented to us.
Motion by Commissioner Coring, seconded by Commissioner Franzine. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Not in favor, same sign. That motion passes. Thank you very much.
And just one more thing, Mr. Chair. So just for all 5 of us, you know, when they do have the coalition, you know, like I listened into the coalition, you can always pop in on Teams and you can listen and hear what's going on. We were talking about, I believe it's a $3,500 grant, and they're trying to decide how to do some advertising, I guess at the movie theaters, but anyway.
And that's through the Drug-Free Communities Grant, so that's $3,500 that was allocated as part of the grant budget, the grant plan, to provide messaging at movie theaters and social media and those types of things. So to Commissioner Coring's point, he had some really good thoughts that he raised during that meeting, and I would encourage you guys to be a part of those discussions as well. And I'm not just saying that, Commissioner. You did have good thoughts.
Well, come on.
If his head wasn't big enough to begin with,
Sorry.
now expanded. So thank you very much, Commissioner Coring. Thank you
Thank you.
for the
Thank you.
presentation. We'll move on to Land Services. Chris, good morning.
Good morning, Mr. Chair and members of the board. We have 5 items for your consideration this morning. The first request is for the preliminary plat of second addition to Eagle View Estates for parcel numbers 5918-0604, 5918-0606, and I think I have the wrong parcel number there. I have a repetitive 5918-0609. Located in Section 18 of Dearwood Township, the request is to approve a conventional design preliminary plat consisting of 11 residential lots The property is located south of Eagle View Drive. If we go back to page 270. So just to give you an idea, this is Deerwood Township here. We have Eagle View Drive. This would be Beach Road up here, and then this is County Road 12 to the south. And what you've got is they're looking to plat this property. And so we can go to the next, to the survey itself. Let's go to page 269, please. There we go. So again, this would be you come in through here, there's gonna be a couple different roads that's coming in. Everything meets the requirements of the ordinance as far as lot size, road dedication, and those sorts of ordinance-based requirements. The Planning Commission did hold a public hearing on September 18th and made a unanimous recommendation to the board to approve the preliminary plat of second edition to Eagle View Estates. The Planning Commission and the Board of Adjustment did develop a finding of fact that's found on page 281 to 282 of your packet for consideration. Deerwood Township submitted a comment stating that they were not taking a position on the plat application itself, but I have spoken with Deerwood Township, and they are working with the applicant on road requirements for future township maintenance of those roads that are there. Based on the application submitted, the staff packet, public comments, and the finding of fact is recommended to approve the preliminary plat of second edition to Eagle View Estates. I have also reviewed the file and concur with the recommendation from the Planning Commission Board of Adjustment. I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Questions?
Mr. Chair,
Commissioner
I
Coring.
would so move the second edition of the Eagle View Estates preliminary plat.
Mr. Coring makes a motion to approve.
I'll second it.
Second by Commissioner Lee. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Not in favor, same sign. That motion passes. Thank you, Chris. Go to
Thank you very much. The next request is for the preliminary plat of Walker's Highlands for parcel number 50180511. This is located in section 18 of Bay Lake Township. The request is to approve a conventional design preliminary plat consisting of 4 residential lots on Clearwater Lake. The property is located off of Crooked Lake Road and Guilford Road. So you have Clearwater up here. This would be Crooked Lake Road.
Chris, can you use the other pointer?
Oh, I'm sorry. Yep.
There you go.
That makes it easier. So you have this Clearwater up here. This is the property in question. You've got, this would be the Crooked Lake Road here, Lady Slipper Lane, and then this would be Guilford. And if we go to the next, to the slide before it, to 86, yep. So they're basically creating four residential lots. There'll be no road development on this. The roads will be either coming off of this road up here and Lady Slipper, and then Guilford here down to the south. The Planning Commission held a public hearing on October 16th and made a unanimous recommendation of the board to approve the preliminary plat of Walker's Highlands. The Planning Commission Board of Adjustment did develop a finding of fact found on page 296 to 297 in your packet for your consideration. We did receive a comment from Bay Lake Township supporting the request. Based on the application submitted, staff packet, public comments, and the finding of fact, is recommended to approve the preliminary plat of Walker Highlands. Staff have reviewed the file and concur with the recommendation from the Planning Commission and the Board of Adjustment. I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Any questions?
Mr. Chair, no questions, and I'm not ready for a motion yet, but I just, Chris, could you just explain, it just popped into my head, can you just explain the difference between a preliminary plat and what is done between the preliminary plat to the final plat? Just a brief explanation of that. I think probably people are wondering, geez, what's this preliminary plat? And then all of a sudden, we're doing the final plat, like 2 seconds later.
Yep, so preliminary plat is really the process where we go through the public hearing and we get notification to the neighboring properties that there's going to be a proposed subdivision of the property. The preliminary plat is really intended to pretty much put together what you see up here on the screen, which would be the layout of the lots, showing proper lot size, lot width, lot area, septic location, topography, location of wetlands, and that. And it really is intended to be the main, this is how the lots are going to lay out as part of the process. You get that preliminary plat is done first. The second step then after preliminary plat is you come back and you go through the final plat process. The reason why situations like this you can do a preliminary and final together is that there isn't any road development. The real key for final plat is making sure that all the conditions of the plat of the preliminary plat are put into play so the final plat can be approved. And there's two, so one of the things that we look for, that we require as part of final plat, is that we get a final survey. It's reviewed by the county surveyor. We get title commitment to make sure there's any issues with that, and we make sure that there's a plan to make sure the monumentation is installed so all the corners have their pins properly. In a situation where, let's say, so that's why if you go back to the original request for that first edition, it was that second edition to Eagle View Estates. They're not doing a final plat yet because now they have to sit down and start doing the road design and get the engineering done and work with the township to get that figured out. Once they get that information, they would come back to the county at that point, and they would either have two options. They'd either have to have the road built already and have it inspected and verified that the road meets the requirements, or they have a developer's agreement, which would be that they would submit all the information to us. We would have an engineer's estimate of what it'll cost to build the roads. They then provide us a financial assurance of 125% of that amount, so that we would be able to have that in place to make sure that the road gets put in properly. If not, we'd have the ability to install the road the way it was designed and approved. And then once you have that in place, then it comes to the county board for approval of the final plat. And there's a time frame requirement. So once a preliminary plat is approved, they've got 12 months to come in and file for final. And then after final plat's approved, I'd have to go back in the ordinance, but there's a short window that they have to actually get the plat recorded after final plat. So there's a statute 505 that governs how we do the platting process, and this dictates that. And then we have Article 9 in the land use ordinance that puts into play the process for preliminary plat and final plat.
So, Mr. Chair, so I would say that, hearing that explanation, by the time it gets to the county board, I think just about all the bugs are shaken out almost.
Everything, absolutely. By the time it gets to the board, everything's been vetted out. We have all the details as far as the requirements. Like I said, making sure we have 2 septic locations, making sure we know where the wetlands are, making sure that we understand the topography, making sure that we understand, where the roads are gonna go and stormwater and all those. And those are all requirements in the ordinance that have to be followed before it gets to you guys.
So just one more question, Mr. Chair, on this one. So you were talking about the preliminary plat. So if somebody's going to put this specific one in, do the neighbors get notified on something like this plat?
Yes, absolutely. So
Okay,
we would
and
notify.
how far away around?
On a plat, we would notify everybody within a half mile. Conditional use permits are a quarter mile, and land use map amendments are a half mile, and then variances are 500 feet, or the nearest 10 properties, whatever gets us the most.
Thank you.
Any other questions, concerns?
Yes, I have one other question. I see that Jacob Fry from the DNR weighed in on a bluff delineation on one of these. Is it just on one of these lots? Is it shown on that?
So this area right here, that's considered to meet the requirements of a bluff.
Okay.
Everything else that you see out here would be considered a steep slope.
Steep slope, okay. And is that bluff listed on when that description for that lot is done, it is listed as a bluffed lot?
That type of thing doesn't get put on the final plat. So if somebody wanted to come and get that information, they'd have to come and look at the preliminary plat to see that. But when you record the final plat, there's very specific things that you put on the plat for final recording. Topography and slope is not one of the things that gets
So
put
if somebody would come in and want to build on that, at that time they came in for a permit, would you let them know that it is a bluff?
We would.
Or would they find out after they've built on it?
Well, we require a survey anytime somebody were to build a house on a riparian lot. That was something the county board has put in place about 18 months ago.
Right.
And so we would have this property would have to be surveyed based on where they want to locate any structures or anything that they want to put out there. So we would make sure that if they were going to build over here, that they'd have to be 30 feet away from the top of that bluff to be able to build any of the structures that they'd want to do on the property.
But before they came in for a permit, they could come in and start clearing that lot and clearing in that bluff area, and would they know about it?
They would, I think everybody
the
is, I think the answer to that is that people are responsible to do their due diligence when they buy property and to make sure that they know. But and when you start talking about steep slopes and bluffs, our ordinance is very, very clear that there's to be no vegetation removal except for to allow for an 8-foot path to get down to the lake for stairways and lifts and landings and those sorts of activities. So, but yeah, this information is all going to will be available online. People can be able to do their own property search and you know, verify those sorts of information, so.
Thank you. That's all I had.
Any other questions? If not, I would look for a motion to approve the preliminary plat for the Walker Highlands per the findings of fact.
I'll make the motion.
Commissioner Lee makes a motion to approve,
Second.
second by Commissioner Coring. All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Not in favor, same sign. That motion passes.
Thank you.
7.3.
The next request is for the preliminary plat of Harlan's Huge Walleye Hideout for parcel number 78340602, located in section 34 of Noke Lake Township. The request is to approve a conventional design preliminary plat consisting of 5 lots on Grave Lake. The property is located off of County Road 8 and Grave Lake Road. And so, again, this is where you've got Grave Lake down here. This is County Road 8. This Grave Lake Road, if you go up north, it'd be County Road 18. We're just south of the Green Lantern. If we go to that survey on 301, yep. So what you've got are you have 2 riparian lots here. You've got 1 lot here, and you've got 1 lot back here. It says that the lot actually has 5 lots, but 1 lot is an outlot. So there would actually be 4 residential lots for building on. This outlot is intended for access. So what we're doing is instead of having multiple access points off of the road, they're coming into this outlot and they're going to then, everybody will have access to this lot and then access there to that. And then this lot here will either come off of Grave Lake Road to the north, or they can also work with highway to see if they can interest point off of County Road 8. Each one of these lots that are here will have 1/3 ownership on that outlot A. So that they will all have, that'll be part of their valuation and tax statement to make sure that outlot is, and getting to a position where it will go tax forfeit if somebody didn't pay, you know, the taxes on that. The Planning Commission did hold a public hearing on October 16th and made a unanimous recommendation to the board to approve the preliminary plat of Harlan's Huge Walleye Hideout. The Planning Commission did develop findings of fact for you found on pages 312 and 313 of your packet. We did not receive any comment from Noke Lake Township for this application. Based on the application submitted, staff packet, public comments, and the findings of fact, is recommended to approve the preliminary plat of Harlan's Huge Walleye Hideout. Staff have reviewed the file and concur with the recommendation from the Planning Commission. I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Coring?
So, Chris, can you drill down a little bit more on this of everybody owning part of the outlot? Because what jumps in my mind is where we have properties in Crow Wing County where there's several owners of the property, and it's hard to manage that. So what happens if 2 of the people say, well, I'm not going to pay my taxes on that? It's included in their taxes?
Correct.
Okay, so then,
Correct.
okay,
Yep, so everybody would have a 1/3 ownership in that outlot.
okay.
Of those 3 lots. Yeah.
So what about, this is off the subject, but some of these parcels that other people own, like Crow Wing County might own 50% and somebody else owns 25%. Did we ever get that changed where they get a tax statement or if they don't pay it?
Yeah, that's undivided interest where
Yes.
we have multiple owners under one parcel. And so what this is doing is preventing that from happening down
Okay.
the road. So that wouldn't happen in a situation like this now, so.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right.
Any other questions?
Yes, I have one. You show a building envelope on Lot 1 and showing the driveway coming out to, what do you call it, Grave Lake Road, I think is what that's called up there?
Right there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, but you also say that if that property owner came in there and wanted a permit and come out onto, what's that other road?
County 8.
County Road 8?
Yep.
They could probably come in and do that?
They'd have to get so Grave Lake Road to the north is a private road that is privately
Oh, it is a
maintained.
private road?
It is.
Okay.
And then, so if they wanted to get highway department their first option is always to try to find ways to access property that's not off a county road. They always like to go to township roads to maintain that pressure on the roads. But I did speak with Matt Calroos from Highway, and depending on where they wanted to locate a potential access point off of County Road 8, it would be an option. When you get to final plat, you'll see There's no, this is just an example of what a driveway location could look like, but it's not something that they would be required to do. They
So
can,
it is a private road, it's not a publicly dedicated right-of-way.
the private road.
It is a private road, so it'd be the owner of that road would have to give permission to that person if they wanted to use it.
Well, the road is actually, that section of the road up there is actually dedicated as part of this plat. Everything else on the way down is all easement-based, so they would be able to.
They
would be able
do
to
actually
access
have a
that
right to use that road there,
They
right
they
then
can
and there.
access
They
that
don't
road.
have to
Yeah,
go to
there's-
anybody else.
They'd have to, the neighbors up here all have some sort of an agreement amongst themselves to maintain that road and the cost of, bringing gravel, grading, plowing in the winter, that sort of thing. And so then they would have to work with those other landowners to, participate in the maintenance of the road. Yeah.
Thank you.
If there's no other questions, I'd look for a motion to approve the Harlan's Huge Walleye Hideout preliminary plat.
Motion to approve.
Motion by Commissioner Coring,
I'll second it.
second by Commissioner Franzine. All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Not in favor, same sign, that motion passes. 7.4 is the final plat.
The next request is for the final plat of Harlan's Huge Walleye Hideout. All requirements have been met for final plat application and recommend approval as submitted.
I got one question on that. I think I misunderstood what you were explaining a little bit earlier, but with regard to that northernmost lot that it connects with Grave currently, I thought you said under the final plat that the driveway location was final then.
We don't, so the final, the location for the driveway for Lot 1 is not set. They can get an application to Highway to see if they can get to get access there, or they can come off of Grave Lake Road. It'll be at their choice, and then if they can get that access permit from Highway off of County Road 8.
Okay, that was my,
So they have access.
what I
to
was
the public road.
misunderstanding is what your explanation on the final plat, so we're good.
Okay.
That's all I
Commissioner
got.
Coring.
I was just going to say, I'll make the motion to approve the Harlan's Huge Walleye Hideout final plat. I love that name, too.
Motion by Commissioner Coring, second by Commissioner Franzine. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Not in favor, same sign. That motion passes. 7.6.
Thank you. The final request is for a land use map amendment for parcel number 75120507 and 75120506, located in section 12 of Long Lake Township. The two parcels are located north of Narrow Lane Road and east of 5 Mile Road. The request is to amend the land use map from agricultural forestry to rural residential 10 involving approximately 80 acres. The area that's in blue here is what they're requesting to be amended to rural residential 10. This again, like I said, this is the 5 Mile Road here. You've got Narrow Lane here. You got South Long over here. Just a reminder what the colors are. The areas that are in green are the agricultural forested area with a 35 acre minimum. The area that's here in blue, this would be the rural residential 5. The area that you see here in this lighter blue color, that's the Shoreland District. And then the area that's in pink, this would be over at Crescent Bay Resort. This would be considered Commercial 1. You can kind of see a little bit, this is waterfront commercial here. The yellow on this side here is 2.5, and then this brown up here would be rural residential 1. We did not receive any comments on this application from Long Lake Township. The Planning Commission held a public hearing October 16th and made a unanimous recommendation to the board to approve the land use map amendment for parcel numbers 75120507 and 75120506 from agricultural forestry to rural residential 10 involving approximately 80 acres. The Planning Commission Board of Adjustment did develop a finding of fact that is found on pages 323 to 324 of your packet for your consideration. And based on the application submitted, staff packet, comments, and the finding of fact, it is recommended to approve the land use map amendment as submitted. It's also been reviewed by staff, and we concur with the recommendation from the Planning Commission Board of Adjustment. I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Questions?
Mr. Chair, just a question on this. What's that blue, kind of like
This?
right there, yeah?
Yeah, there's a stream that comes down, and so the shoreline district on the stream is 300 feet. The shoreline district on a lake that you see here with South Long, that's a 1,000-foot buffer there. And so this is a public water stream, and so it is a shoreline district of 300 feet on both sides of the stream.
And Mr. Chair, so remind me what the dark blue is again?
Dark blue is a rural residential 5, so it'd be a 5 acre minimum.
And they're asking for R10?
They're asking for 10, correct. Yeah,
Okay.
the planning commission
So-
thought that made sense to put an R10 up in that area.
So, Mr. Chair, I know we approved some property that's on the west side. It's a lot of land that was undeveloped. And is this connected, is that blue connected to that?
Oh, there's a plat that a preliminary plat that you guys approved earlier this year that would be down into here.
Right down, oh, that, okay, I'm just trying to get my
On the
bearings.
south that, yep, some larger tracts down there that a family is developing down there.
And then, Mr. Chair, so then on the very edge of the paper, I would think that County Road 23 is there,
Yep.
and this narrow lane goes over to 144, I would believe, right?
It does.
Okay. Now I got it figured out. Okay.
Any other questions, concerns? Looking for a motion to approve.
Motion to approve.
Commissioner Coring makes a motion to approve, second by Commissioner Franzine. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Not in favor, same sign. That motion passes. Congratulations, Mr. Waltz. And thank you, Chris. County Sheriff.
I don't have anything for you today.
Unbelievable.
Yes, all's well.
Really? It's all that well?
Wow.
All right. Thank you very much. Do we
You know-
have anybody? Oh, I'm sorry.
I guess I do have some, Mr. Chair, with the sheriff. When you, I don't know who the point of contact is, and I guess it doesn't really make any difference to me, but I think it does make a difference to the highway department about the flock camera.
Yes.
On County Road 2, it's like maybe 2 or 3 feet right off the edge of the road. And I know when I talked to Rob Hall, he told them to get it out of there, and I just drove by there just a few days ago, and it was still there. So, I don't know, I think it needs to be moved out a little bit. I mean, it's literally about in the same spot as the mailbox would be.
Oh.
I don't know if you know that.
No, I'm not aware of that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Anyway, so,
You know you?
no. So, I don't know if that's gotten taken care of, but I know that it was an issue for the highway department. So, I
Okay.
think when they come there with their wing and
Yes,
got some
absolutely.
sloppy snow, I think that thing's gonna go flying.
I'm surprised
Yeah.
that they have it that close,
Yeah.
actually. So.
Yeah, I'm surprised. All right, thanks.
Great, thank you.
Sounds to me like the flock is giving you some flock.
Do we have anyone from the county attorney's office online?
About the turkeys along the road lately.
Good morning, Mr. Chair and Commissioners.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Kelsey, you
I don't
have
have anything for you.
You have nothing for us?
I don't, but I can answer any questions you might have of me today.
I'll just say one thing, the background in your office looks a lot cleaner than Don's old office. I don't know how you're handling
I
that.
made some updates.
All right, well, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Move on to the county administrator. And she's not here, but she got somebody to cover for her.
Well, sort of. I mean, no one could really ever cover for her, but. Cara Terry, Community Services. I am just reporting on our SMT meeting yesterday. Yesterday, we had Morgan Althaus from Community Services present on a project that she's working on, along with HR, to provide a leadership academy of sorts for our leaders in the county overall. So she's got a pretty good structure figured out. We are just working on the preparation of the materials that will be presented to our leaders, as well as a schedule, timeline of sorts, and what that's going to look like to support all of our both new and seasoned, such as myself, leaders for Crow Wing County. In addition to that, we talked about our TrackStar templates, and we're still working to simplify the templates, but yet make them ready to hold staff accountable, specifically around performance management and how we're going to word some expectations and Trackstar templates around performance management. And then we talked about pieces of the government shutdown and how those are potentially impacting us, as well as our current employee engagement survey. As of this morning, we have 178 staff who have completed the employee engagement survey. It's open for another week or so, so we encourage staff to complete that. Any questions on the SMT
Any
meeting?
questions?
Cool, thank you.
Very good, thank you very much. Move on to 10.2, which is to schedule a public hearing for a change for the unnamed body of water to Spirit Lake. This is in Deerwood Township. So,
Mr.
go ahead, I'm sorry.
Commissioners, we received a petition from Mike Asplin to change the name of an unnamed lake in Deerwood Township to Spirit Lake. Minnesota statute requires the board set a time and location for a public hearing on the petition at least 30 days from the date the petition is received. The request today is to schedule a public hearing for December 16th at 5:30.
Any questions? I would look for a motion to approve.
Mr. Chairman, I would make the motion to set the public hearing for the change of the unnamed body of water to Spirit Lake on December 16th, 5:30 PM.
Commissioner Corning makes a motion to approve.
I'll second the motion to set the hearing.
Commissioner Lee seconds that motion. All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Aye. Not in favor, same sign. That motion passes. Next item is 10.3. I'm asking, this is a personal request to gain your support. So I'd like a motion to nominate me for the Sourcewell Board. I've served the last 4 years. I think they bring a lot of value to our county, but to our region, the 5-county region area. So I would ask that for your support, and I would look for a motion to that effect.
Mr. Chair?
Sure.
So, Mr. Chair, could you just explain how Region, or not Region 5, Sourcewell, how the board is laid out and who votes on it and how that procedure goes?
So the board is made up of 8 board members. 6 of them are school board members, voted by various, the school districts across the 5-county area. There's 2 of us government elected officials. So currently the mayor of Little Falls and myself are the 2 that are elected. They're 4-year terms. We then have to run again. So any elected in the district, it's called Sub-District 4 that I represent, can run for that office. So my term will be up at the end of the year here. And so we represent, I forget what it is, 17 cities, 4 counties, and then there's Central Lakes College out here, there's Minnesota State College over in Wadena, and then Region 5 make up the 24 voting units that will eventually vote on us. So we're in the period where we're making nominations. So, and you have to be nominated by your local government unit. So that's the reason I'm asking today for it. If there's other questions, you want to know how they make their money? Is that what you?
No.
Oh.
I know how they make their money. I just wanted to lay out what the board is, and it's a service co-op.
Service co-op, correct.
So is Cass County Board part of that?
Cass County, Wadena County, Todd County, Morrison, and Crow Wing.
So what could happen is Cass County could nominate somebody from their board, and somebody could get nominated from Wadena, but then the 24, like when it comes time to vote, if there's several choices, we get one vote here, correct?
Vote. Correct.
Okay.
Very good. So in the end, if I go back to when I was elected 4 years ago, out of the 24 units of government that could vote, only 15 voted.
Okay.
And I prevailed. I got 10 of them. The other individual got 5. But that's exactly how it works. So,
Right.
But as a group, we will get one vote.
I just thought it'd be important to lay out how this is all works. It's kind of confusing sometimes with this government stuff, but,
Well, it's a government unit with, they can't borrow, they can't tax, and they can't levy.
right.
So it's a unique unit set up by the state of Minnesota under statute 123A.21. So it's a,
He looked at, he didn't know that right off. He looked at it.
well, I knew it was a Minnesota state statute. I wanted to make sure I got the right one. I want to be accurate with my facts. So, Commissioner Reed, you have a question?
Yeah, Commissioner Coring kind of asked the question I was going to. You and I had a chance to speak about this prior to this meeting, and that was kind of the question I had too. But one of the things that I see is I think this is a benefit for our county to have you involved in that. It's a good thing for all of our citizens, and you've mentioned some of the good things that have happened in our county because of Sourcewell. So I'll just bring that up. If you want to expound on it, go ahead. If you don't, that's fine too. So.
Well, I'll just say that, Sourcewell is a unique operation, a unique government unit. There's 9 service co-ops in the state of Minnesota that were authorized under statute 123A. So, but Sourcewell went from being NJPA, originally most of us remember that as the National Joint Powers Association, and so it wasn't a very big organization at the time, and then leadership changed, and all of a sudden one of the founding members fell out of a tree, and they had this great idea of going out and creating a cooperative purchasing, and it's just grown immensely. On the revenue side, we now have agreements with the United States Army, with the Navy. We have another agreement that's in the hopper that we can't sign this week. We would be in California and Monterey to sign that one, but because of the shutdown, we can't sign it right now, so there'll be a future signing. We have the reserves on board with this, so that expanded us to a huge market. We also operate with local government units and school districts and that in 28 states, and then we have a partner in Canada that we operate with. But locally, we work with the Minnesota Department of Education. We work with these local government units. I was telling Commissioner Lee that we approve millions of dollars that go out to our 5-county area. The level 4 schools, we have one over here in Brainerd, there's one in Little Falls, one in Wadena, one in Cass Lake. Sourcewell put $21 million into that operation or that initiative. We just spent, Central Care out of St. Cloud started up a medical school because we want to home grow our doctors for rural Minnesota. So put $1 million into that operation down there. They're associated with the University of Minnesota. So we're looking at initiatives there. We have another initiative that we just started up, which is having every 3rd grader, and think about this, these are the kids that will be born this year, that by 2035 they'll be reading at grade level. So they aren't even born yet, but by 2035 we will be, that initiative hopes to have every one of the kids in our 5-county area reading at grade level, which is a huge lift, but we're willing to take that on. I know Ascend Rural, which is another initiative we have, is working on some mental health issues. We're going to have probably a news release coming out in early December on that and where we're going with that. That was bringing together a bunch of vendors from across the country, throwing out some ideas to them, and then have them tell us how they would create an impact in that particular area. It might be mental health. It could be, I know we just signed a contract with Central Minnesota EMS, which is a joint powers that Crow Wing County is a part of with 12 other counties, to have Marion Larson, who's our coordinator there, be part of a mental health cohort where they're going to build a particular program. And it's trying to create efficiencies and doing more with less, but having a coordinated effort across a larger geographic area. So lots of things going on over there. I know we have sometimes issues with, they hire our staff away from us, but they also invest an awful lot in Crow Wing County. Many of our law enforcement, public safety people have received dollars. You know, the local police departments, the sheriff's department, a lot of collaboration that goes on between those units. The school districts have received an awful lot of money. I bring up one person, Chi, over at our IT department, was one of the interns that Sourcewell supports during the course of a year, and he decided to stay on with us, and he's actually a very good employee and spends a lot of time with me. We've gotten to be really good friends because of my lack of knowledge in that area, but he's, so it's an example of where, yes, we might have some concerns about our staff going that direction, but we also get back an awful lot, and the county gets back an awful lot from their efforts over there. So
Mr. Chair.
I think I'll shut up at this point.
Okay. Mr. Chair, just one quick last comment. I will acknowledge that that they are doing good work, and it's a good place where we buy a lot of stuff. Like if we want to buy a grader, they've already got the contract all written up, I believe, and on equipment. And so I will acknowledge they are doing a lot of great things. I like to use them as my whipping boy because I just kind of get angry that we've lost a couple of finance directors and other people, and they've got a lot more, they can pay a lot more money than we can. And you know, working in government is not like working in the private sector where you're making big money. People choose to work in government, and you shouldn't expect to be making huge amounts of money. But I'll acknowledge they're doing good work over there. I'm still going to be angry if another person goes over there. Well, I'm not angry at the people that leave. God bless them. If they can get $20,000 more a year, God bless them. Good for them. So I wish they'd offer me a job.
I have a story for you. Well, your reputation precedes you, Paul. I'll tell you a quick story. I was at the first retreat that I went to, and I'm sitting in this room, and you know, and I'm sweating, and you know, because I know nothing about the organization either.
Right.
And you got all these brilliant people, because you've warned me that they've taken the best of the best from us.
They have taken
And,
good people.
So I'm thinking there's a couple of them sitting in this room, and CEO Chad Coet says to me, he stopped me mid-sentence, and he said, so I'd like to have a show of hands of all the people that came from Crow Wing County or have worked at Crow Wing County, and I'm not kidding you, 40% of the people in the room raised their hand. I almost fell out of my chair, and then, you know, my first thought was, how do I go back and speak to Commissioner Coring about this? But yeah, it's, you know, they do a great job. They have high expectations, and they reinvest in, and they're required to by statute to reinvest in our Region 5. So
Yep.
with that, I'll move.
So I will enthusiastically, I think back when I got removed as the chair, I probably should hold a grudge, but I'm not holding a grudge. So I'm enthusiastically supporting you, Mr. Chairman, so I would move that we support Chairman Barrows as the nominee for the Sourcewell Board of Directors, and that's a motion.
Thank you very much. Motion by Commissioner Coring, second by Commissioner Franzine. I will abstain, so all in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Not in favor, same sign. That motion passes. We'll move on to, where am I at here? We have a HRA resignation and a vacancy, or excuse me, an appointee.
That is correct, Mr. Chair. The vacancy was created with the retirement of, or the resignation of Craig Nathan, and Commissioner Franzine has a Ben Wickland that she would like to appoint to that position.
Is that correct?
Yes.
All right.
Mr. Chair, I would be willing to probably do this in two motions. So the first motion would be that the County Board of Commissioners accept the resignation of Craig Nathan from the HRA Board.
Commissioner Coring makes a motion to accept the resignation of Mr. Nathan. Commissioner Franzine seconds that motion. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Not in favor, same sign. That motion passes.
Here, let me just do that again.
I'd like to make the motion to appoint Ben Wickland.
I'll second that motion.
Commissioner Franzine makes a motion to appoint Ben Wickland to the HRA Board, and Commissioner Coring seconds that motion. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Not in favor, same sign. That motion passes. Have we covered everything?
Mr. Chair, I see we have our interim director of the airport here. I didn't know if he had any words or...
Mr. Planzer, do you want to tell them how many applicants we've had to replace you and how many we're not going to accept?
Thank you. We had 28 applicants, and we're in the process of narrowing it down. The Airport Commission will meet on November 6th.
Yes.
And we'll choose a committee to interview, and then hopefully we'll have an appointment, probably interview and appointment sometime early December.
You mean you're not staying on, sir?
It's a difficult thing to leave here. I would like to tell you, and I've repeated to some of you individually, you have such a blessed airport. It's a great community, and I haven't had this interesting a job in a long time, and I really appreciate having received the opportunity.
Well, we certainly have appreciated you. We've appreciated the Klang family for getting us connected. I think there was some internal voices there. As Commissioner Lupke says, there's a lot of voices in his head.
Hey.
Well, I know that one.
There's a lot in your head, too?
No, just Lubke's head.
Thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you. So it's quite a process, though, to have that many, and most of them are from Virginia. We're out east.
Oh, wow.
But we prefer somebody who likes snow is one of the criteria.
What you'll see in the commission, the highest scoring, the ones that you'll probably want to interview, 3 of them are local within this Crow Wing area. 2 of them are northern Midwest. They need to understand hockey, snowmobiling, and ice fishing, or it's a waste of our time.
Right. So, all right, well, thank you for the update. And if there's nothing else, I would look for a motion to adjourn.
We will make a motion to adjourn.
Second, then.
Commissioner Lupke makes a motion, Commissioner Franzine seconds it. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Not in favor, same sign, or you can hang around.